Hey vinyl community, it's Michael. Welcome back to Near Wild Heaven. I actually managed to not go to any record stores in the last couple of weeks, so I don't really have any new vinyl finds. So today's video, I'm just going to do another 15 albums from my collection. And so let's get started. First up, this is the Plimsolls. Uh, their first album. I think they had an EP out after this one. It was called Zero Hour, and this one's from 1981 with Peter Case right there. Man, it's really good power pop. If you like power pop, these guys will deliver it for you. It's just a great album. They got like a few other albums out. Peter Case went solo. Um, but yeah, it's just a great. If you like power pop, you might want to check these guys out. The Plimsolls, really good stuff. Up next, this is Supreme Psychedelic Underground by the Hell Preachers Incorporated. This is actually an exploitation album that came out during the height of psychedelia in the late 60s. This is actually studio musicians. They just get together and they jam and okay, let's make an album out of this. So this is what it is. Uh, Supreme Psychedelic Underground. Um, Pretty good. It was kind of cheesy, I guess, at the time of its release, but it's pretty good. Um, I don't know what more to say about it. If you like psychedelic music, not like it's not like pop art experimental band or anything like that, but it's still good. It's a little bit garagey, but still, I like this a lot. So, Supreme Psychedelic Underground, Hell Preachers. Uh, Up next, this is, speaking of psychedelia, this is a classic. It's Electric Prunes, Mass in F minor. Um, this was the album that David Axelrod kind of took over the band, and they do play on this. The whole band play on this, but not every track. And there's a lot of symphonic stuff kind of go with the Catholic Mass, but I really like this a lot. I mean, the parts that the Prunes play on, really psychedelic, just really, really good. I really enjoy this album. Um, I've had this probably 45 years. I found it in cutouts, like in the mid 70s for about $3. But great album. Electric Prunes, you can't go wrong with them. Up next, also from the 60s, this is the Nazz, their second album, Nazz. This is, of course, is with Todd Rundgren, his first band before he went solo. It's pretty good, kind of psych pop, a little bit like The Who, Yardbirds, a little bit, but mostly like a pop sound to it. And this is, of course, on SGC Records, on the the red vinyl issue. At the time this came out, there wasn't, colored vinyl wasn't like as common as it is today. So this was a pretty rare thing for a while. I mean, when I first got this, it was considered a really rare album, but now it's like you can get it pretty cheap. I've had this probably close to 40 some years, but good album. Really like the Nazz, really like Todd Rundgren. Uh, so if you don't know about them, check them out. This is really good stuff. Up next, jumping into the 70s, from 1975, this is Dr. Feelgood, their second album, Malpractice. Um, Great band. The Discogs classifies them as pub rock, and I guess that's pretty accurate. But they do more like it's R&B influenced rock and roll, blues based rock and roll is what it is, and it's done really well. Wilco Johnson, this guy right here, the guitarist, he passed away recently from cancer, but man, he was a great guitarist, pretty underrated. But Dr. Feelgood is a great album. They got maybe 4 or 5 albums out, maybe more than that. But Wilco Johnson left, like, I think after their fourth album. And then this guy here is Lee Brillo, the lead singer. He kind of took over, and there was a lot of lineup changes and stuff in their later albums. But their first 4 albums with Wilco Johnson are very much worth having. Just really, really good stuff. So if you like this kind of music, pub rock, blues-based rock and roll, this is the way to go with Dr. Feelgood. Really good stuff. Up next, this is a band from Canada called 5440. This is like, I think, their third album from 1989. Yeah, 1989. It's called Fight for Love. It's pretty good. I like these guys. I have their other albums, a few of their other albums. As far as I know, they're still together and they're still putting albums out in Canada. They just never caught on here in the U.S. On their first album, they did a song called I Go Blind, which was covered by Hootie and the Blowfish in the 90s. But yeah, it's good stuff. It kind of reminiscent of early REM or maybe mid-period REM. This album especially is kind of mellow, kind of acoustic bass, but really good stuff. Songs like Here in My House, Over My Head, Miss You, Fight for Love. It's all really good. If you want to check these guys out, please do so, because they're a great band. 5440 from Canada. Up next, this is one of the best live albums I ever heard. This is Jefferson Airplane, Bless His Pointed Little Head. Jack Cassidy passed out there on the front. But great live album, man. It's so good. I love all the, like, Fat Angel, which is a Donovan song. They do a version of it on here, and it's so good. So really, really good. It's No Secret, Plastic Fantastic Lover. Just whole album. I mean, this is, like I said, this is one of the best live albums I've ever heard. I really, really enjoy this. Jefferson Airplane, Bless His Pointed Little Head. Everybody knows Jefferson Airplane. Up next, going back to Canada, this is The Haunted, Canadian garage rock band from the late 60s. This is a compilation. I don't think they ever really released anything while they were active. Maybe a couple singles, but they never released an album proper. But this is a compilation of their singles and some like studio outtakes and stuff. There's another volume of this with on The Haunted too. So it's probably much all of their available recordings, you know, on this and the other album. But great stuff. It's on the lines of maybe Chocolate Watch Band and the Standells, Shadows of Night, that type of stuff. But Really good stuff from Canada, The Haunted. And up next, another 60s album. This is Manfred Mann, The Mighty Quinn. This came out in 1968. Have the big hit with Bob Dylan's song, The Mighty Quinn. That's probably the best version of that song that I've heard. I really like this a lot. But the rest of the album is really good too. It's like a pop psych, especially Each and Every Day is just a great pop song. Semi-detached suburban Mr. James, Ha Ha Said the Clown, uh, No Better, No Worse, The Vicar's Daughter. It's all really good. And this features Klaus Vormann on bass guitar, the artist that did the Revolver cover for the Beatles. But that's him there hiding in the back. You can see him that good. But yeah, really good stuff from Manfred Mann from 1968. They were stepping into the psychedelic that was going on at the time. But good stuff. If you like Manfred Mann, you like early Manfred Mann, you want to check this one out. It's really good. Up next, moving to 2000s. This is the Pixies, Head Carrier. This was their comeback album from, I don't think it says on here. I think it's about 2016 it says here. 2016. But yeah, it's pretty typical of the Pixies sound. Kim Deal wasn't on this album. She didn't want to join in on the reunion, so they got this other girl to take her place, and she's really good. She fits in right along with the other guys. But great stuff. Black Francis still writing great songs. This is, like I said, from 2016. I know they have maybe one or two other ones released since then. But if you like the Pixies and you haven't heard this, you might want to check this out. It's really good. I was really happy with this one. So there you go for that. And up next, this is Wilco, AM. I believe this is their first album. This is really good. I like early Wilco. I like their first two albums. I like this one and the one called Being There. Those are both really good. But after that, I kind of lost interest in them. I mean, they were trying different things in that, which is a good thing for bands to do, but I just didn't care for the sound. But this album and their second album are really good. There's great songs on here. I Must Be High, Box Full of Letters, I Thought I Held You. It's just that simple. All of it really good. Jeff Tweedy was really good songwriter. The first lineup of Wilco, they were an excellent band. And this is like an excellent album. If you want to check them out, if you never heard of Wilco and you never heard this album, you might want to check it out. Really good. It's got kind of a country flavor to it, country rock, but just great stuff. Really, really good. Wilco AM. And before Wilco, there was a band called Uncle Tupelo, which Jeff Tweedy was in, also with another guy named Jay Farrar. But yeah, this is really good stuff. Kind of country flavored. They do like a cover version of No Depression, which was like a song from like the 30s. you know, like the Carter family did back in the 30s. And but lots of good stuff on here. They're kind of a Americana like, and these guys existed from like 1990 to around 1994 or so. So they got several albums out. This is their first one. Um, so when this band broke up, Jeff Tweedy formed Wilco, and Jay Farrar formed a band called Sunvolt. Now, Sunvolt, they stuck more to what Uncle Tupelo was doing, whereas Wilco, when they first started, they were similar to Uncle Tupelo, but they started changing their sound. But still, this great stuff. If you haven't heard Uncle Tupelo, you know, and you like country rock, you like Flying Burrito Brothers or Graham Parsons and the Byrds, Sweetheart of the Rodeo, you probably like this if you want to check it out. It's Uncle Tupelo, No Depression. Up next, now we're going to get into some 70s. This is Gong, album called You. This is from 1974. This kind of, it's really good. I like this a lot, but it's kind of hard to describe. I would say kind of like free jazz, but set in a rock mode. I don't want to say jazz rock, but it's on borders on there. It's long instrumental jams, really good stuff. Steve Hillage was guitarist for the band. I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with Steve Hillage. He was a great guitarist. David Allen is a lead singer, writes most of the songs. But Gong has been through a lot of lineup changes over the years. I don't know if they're still together or not, but yeah, this is great stuff. I've been trying to find a lot of their stuff. They're probably similar to Can. If you like that kind of stuff, you might want to check these guys out too. But really good stuff. Gong and the album You. Up next, this is Camper Van Beethoven, Key Lime Pie. This was their major label debut from 1989. This is really good. I always liked this band. David Lowery, lead vocalist, got a unique voice, and really good songwriting. The stuff on here, like When I Win the Lottery, I Was Born in a Laundromat, Jack Ruby, Sweethearts, all of it is really, really good. They do a version of Pictures of the Matchstick Men, old Status Quo song from the 60s. But really good stuff. I always liked this band. Kind of unique in their presentations of the music, but great stuff. If you want to check these guys out, if you don't know about them, Camper Van Beethoven. This is Key Lime Pie. And the last one, this is the Blue Things. This is from 1966 on RCA. This is a reissue probably from the early 2000s, but really good stuff, kind of garagey folk. A lot of the songs are acoustic based, but good stuff. I really enjoyed this album. I don't know what more to say about it, but if you like mid 60s garagey sounds with acoustic leanings, this is a pretty good album to check out. the blue things. So there you go, people. So I want to thank everyone who's subscribed in the last few weeks. My subscriptions are going up, and that's great. And thank you so much for commenting. And hope everybody's getting ready for Christmas and gonna have a nice time with your families and all that. And I don't know, maybe I'll get another video out before the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. So take care, vinyl community. Thanks again to everybody who's subscribed and leave messages. And we'll see you soon. Take care.